Yes, in this part 3 of isometric drafting, we're going to look at one last drawing. In the next part, I'm going to show you how to add dimensions to all these drawings that we've covered so far. Okay, so we have this question 3. We have 3 views of a bearing, and we are required to make an isometric drawing of the bearing. Corner A should be the lowest point on your drawing. Also, no hidden details are required. So this is corner A, so it should be where we have our axes, where our axes meet. That's where corner A should be. Okay, of course I know they meet at so many other points, but the foremost ground we should have corner A. Okay, so meaning it's not the front elevation that's going to sit on the left side or on the left isometric axis. Instead, we'll have this side, the end as seen from the left, which is this end. It should be the one exactly seated in the left. Okay, so meaning the front should sit on the right axis. Okay, so just like in the previous videos, we're going to take the maximum heights, length and width. So we have the maximum length of this should be 62 times 2, and that should sit on the right axis. Then the maximum height should be 50, and the maximum width should be 62 as well. Alright, so let's get on with that. Let's go over to AutoCAD, and this is what we start with the line tool. So we'll have 62. This is still quite too big. Okay, that should be enough. So we have 62. And we should have 62 two times this side at an angle of 30 degrees. And another 62. Then our height is, I don't remember the height, it's 50. So along 90 degrees we make that height, and now we can track the points to draw out the box. Okay, that angle is supposed to be 210. So make sure you get those angles right. That's 150 and 90 degrees, and yeah, so we can track the remaining points. We don't need to measure the distances anymore. So that is at 30 degrees together with this one, which is 150. Make that corner. We can go up, we can go right. It's all up to you. So upwards I can track this point or the opposite point. Okay, so now the only thing I'm left to do is to join the remaining points. This should be very easy by now. So we have that box. Now we need to start cutting off the unwanted parts out of that box. So I think we should start from the top. Yeah, because the top part is the one that has more details, so we should start from the top. This is 9. We add a line that goes around and should be 9 from the top. Okay. So that's 9 millimeters, and then we need to displace it by 12 millimeters, and same thing here, we displace this portion by that is what, 25 millimeters, and I'm thinking it's the same 25 here, of course. Yeah, okay, so we have 9 from the top, so we type 9. I need to disable some feature like pile. I don't need it. I don't need this one either. And now for the rest, I'm just using angles. I don't need to measure up any other distance. I'm just using the I'm only using polar tracking to finish up the rest of the drawing. Now you don't have to worry about the hidden part for now. Just keep drawing. You can always remove the hidden parts later on. Now we need to displace this by 12. So along this, going along that line, I'll type 12, and this is supposed to be vertically downwards to get our point A. Then do the same thing here along 150 degrees, then come back up at that line. Then okay, that is enough. Then we do the same thing behind, only for the parts that we need to see. We don't need to do the whole part behind. So this is again 12 from that end point. Get a starting point of the line, 12 millimeters from the end point, from this end point. And I think that is the only thing we can see here. We won't be able to see the slanting surface because it's somewhere here in the middle, so we won't be able to see it, so there's no point bothering with that. And now what I'm going to do is to add that there's some slanting face here, so that's what I'm going to add, is at a distance of 25 from either end. Then it's 12 millimeters in thickness, so that's what I'm going to draw. So from here, from this, okay, I'm tracking 2 points at the same time, which is not what I want to do. So 25, and it should, okay, this is a little bit tricky to do, so what I'm going to do is to draw a vertical line here, and now draw a line which is at an angle of 30 degrees. It should intersect with that one. So along this I'm going to move 12 millimeters. Okay, so I should be able to move 12 millimeters to get that end point. And now that end point is supposed to intersect with okay, let me just come back here. You'll see what I'm doing in a minute. And this is along 210, then go upwards, because I can only have the actual distances should only be parallel to the isometric axis, otherwise now this is the actual line that I want, okay, but I needed to get those points first, and they have to be parallel to the isometric axis. Also, this is the other point that I want. It should go up to I have to make sure that point, that is the point of contact. So meaning I don't need this line and that line and that line and that line. Okay, so go ahead and delete them. And also I need a vertical line at this point. It should go as high as I want, because since we're not interested in hidden details, we can just leave it there. And that is the line, this one, for or it should be in line with this one at the corner. Okay, yeah, you'll see what that is if we make the outline Okay, so at the back we won't be able to see anything, so there's no point finishing that part in the back. So what I'm going to do now is to trim. So I'm going to trim off what we don't need. Okay, we don't need whatever is back here either, so we can as well go ahead and trim it. We don't need this one either. Okay, that is enough trimming. I forgot to trim that. This, don't need it. And I think we can delete the rest, like this and that. And that last bit, there's an extra bit here. Okay, so we should have something like that. Everything else is hidden. Okay, now it's time to make this groove. Okay, it's more like half a cylinder plus something that goes upward, some rectangular part which is 9mm in depth. Okay, and then the radius of this cylindrical part should be, I don't think it's given. It's given. So we have 62 minus 37, so that's around 23 plus 2, which is 25. Okay, so that's 25. Okay, so the radius is 25, and then we make 9, and yeah, that should be it, I think. So 9mm, and yeah. Okay, so this goes all the way. Oh, there's one other line that I need to take care of. There's no line here, so I need to trim before I continue. There's no line there. Okay, so now that's nice and clean. So we look for a midpoint and draw out 25 on either side. But before we do that, we should be able to, okay, let's see here. Maybe I don't really need to. Okay, so all I'm going to do is to go ahead and draw that iso circle in the midpoint. Then I'll just displace it downward. So I need the midpoint, and I also, okay, I'll need this later on for when I'm copying that circle. So what we are going to do, okay, not that one, we need this one, axis and ellipse. Then you choose iso circle, or equivalently just press I and enter and specify the center. The center should be in the midpoint. And okay, now you see this is a weird circle, so we need to change the iso plane. That is the top, and it should be the right, because it's actually on the right face of our object, so we should be using the iso plane right. So it has a radius of 25, so type that radius, and we have ourselves a circle. And now we need to okay, maybe before I go on, I'm going to copy it to the other side, then I'll move them at the same time downwards a distance of 9 millimeters, because I'm supposed to move this center down a distance of 9 millimeters. So let's first copy to the other side, specify base point. I want it to be that center is also the midpoint, so I should copy along 150 degrees. So it's better to just type out the distance, okay? Otherwise I'm supposed to copy to the midpoint of the other line, but since I have so many snap settings activated, let me just type that distance, which is 62, and as you can see 62 is right. That should be a midpoint of that line, or whatever. Okay, alright, so now I'm going to move them downwards a distance of 9, so both at the same time. So type move MOV, specify base point. I'll still choose the midpoint, so vertically down at 270 degrees I'm going to move them 9 millimeters. Okay, so that's both at the same time. Now the other thing left to do is to draw out some kind of line that touches this one, the top line, on both of them. Okay, so for that we're going to need to activate actually we don't need anything, we don't need to activate anything, but instead I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to draw a line from a distance of 37, okay, because we have 37 from here to here, so a distance of 37 from the end point. So when I reach this corner, I'll draw a vertical line, and I'll do the same thing this side. So from that point, going along that line, just simply type 37. Now draw a vertical line. Now that line should touch the iso circle. So do the same thing this side. From that end point, type 37. Then you should have that. I'm going to draw horizontal lines going towards, okay, sorry, they're not horizontal, but lines at 150 degrees. They should intersect with this line. So I'll do the same thing here very fast. Make sure it's 150 degrees. Draw vertical lines from the points of intersection. Okay, so we can trim at this point. Of course, there's a hidden detail. We can get rid of that later. For now, let's just trim. Okay, so this is a smooth surface. We shouldn't add any additional line because this is a smooth surface. So the only thing we're left to do is to could probably leave the hidden line if you want to get rid of it altogether. Yeah, but normally let me just show you where the hidden line would be. It's usually quadrant. So if I take the line tool from there to that point, it's usually quadrant. Okay, it's usually that, but we're not interested in hidden details, so yeah, I'm going to get rid of that and also trim this part. Okay, so this is our drawing. Let me see if we've left out anything. Yeah, now that is our drawing. Okay, so let me make it an outline. Use outline, and we should have something like that.